why you should stop watching the news right now, today. Don't do it. Watching the news is going to weaken your immune system. It's going to make you more susceptible to the very thing you're becoming so obsessed with. Today I'm going to talk about that. Quick, short video. I'm not going to go on and on. Let's just get to the meat of the meat of the matter. I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon and start talking about CVs. YouTube doesn't like you doing it either, apparently. But I felt like I had to say something because there's some disturbing trends happening right now. And this is understandable. Humans are animals, even though we pretend we're not. And we have a lot of the same characteristics and similarities, and we do a lot of the same things. Panic and fear and trying to remove uncertainty of the future are all universal to our species. The problem is, with the world we live in, and the things that give us the information profit by us paying attention to them. The incentives for giving you information that might be objective, or that might be good for you, or that might be optimistic, or that on the flip side might be bad for you, that might be fear-mongering, that might be propaganda. You can see how there might be some problems with this economic model. This economic model of attention being monetized makes you the product. You, when you pay attention to the news, or you scroll on something like that, even this video right now, you are the thing that's being monetized. Your attention is being monetized. Most people don't pay enough attention to how they are being used as the product. They let the news suck them in, and then they go on and type up comments and go back and forth and just further stimulate the algorithm, like Facebook and Google and all these different platforms that see all these data points to make you come back for more and serve you up more of the same thing that made you outraged or afraid or whatever in the first place. After all, something like YouTube, the entire incentive of YouTube is to keep you watching. And so the algorithm tries to do all these things to take signals from the things you like and the things you don't like, serve you up more of the things you like, keep you glued and watching that. That's the model. That's the model for keeping you on the platform. Facebook has a similar model. Instagram has a similar model. Google tries to serve you the best results so that you keep coming back for more. Each one of these have the different parameters and things it has to keep in mind. It has the different biases. There's the bias that's built into the algorithms. The reason that today you should stop watching the news and being the user, being the product for all these corporations is related to health. And that's what I'm talking about today. You see, they've done research where they put subjects in a room in front of a TV and they gave them the typical fast food commercial. They do all these nice angles and the food looks super fake and super perfect. You never ever see this at McDonald's, ever. They made the connection to actual hormonal response in the body for the test subjects that were watching the commercial. That's pretty crazy, right? Why is that? Well, we evolved in the wild where if we saw something in front of us, it's because it was actually in front of us. Today, we see things that are not in front of us. We see things from across the world, from the past, fake things, made up things. It short circuits our biology. Our brain doesn't understand the difference. So the brain responds to the idea that it thinks it's about to eat this tasty morsel that's flashing across the screen. A lot of the research around porn and porn addiction points to the same thing. The mind can't delineate the difference. And there's also, it's on demand, whether that is food, whether that's sex, everything's on demand now. So that poses its own set of problems. When you are constantly plugged in, and when you are being fed things that are going to make you afraid, make you panic, well, your body responds with certain stress hormones. Cortisol is the most obvious one that we should talk about. When cortisol is elevated, it's usually in the wild setting to make you respond to something. Maybe run, be afraid, get on your toes, be hypervigilant, narrow your focus. That's what adrenaline does. If you ever had a shot of adrenaline, it's an amazing feeling. Long story short, I almost got into a fight like this. I almost got into one where I was ready to fight and it didn't happen. I think the person didn't expect me to respond. And I was like, let's go. And it made the person back off. There's a lot to that story, of course, but I was so ready and I thought it was going to happen. I remember I was in the kitchen. I'm telling you, it's like a superhero movie where someone injects something into you and you just feel like you're
stronger
and you're faster. I did a couple shadow boxes and I was like,
oh my gosh,
this is superhuman. I'm never like this when I'm training in the gym. I'm never like this when I'm punching the bag. It was incredible. I can see adrenaline junkies or people that like extreme sports. I can see how they get addicted to it. It is freaking insane. And I know I'm digressing. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Like, it really does make you feel alive. Where was I with that? Cortisol. Your body responds with cortisol to elevate things and then respond. And then cortisol will go away when you're back to safety. That's the natural ebb and flow of our hormones. Same thing with insulin. The problem with our food being on demand and all the grains and all the fake food we eat is insulin's chronically elevated, which is basically a precursor for every modern observed disease. Almost every disease is made worse by elevated insulin levels. As it relates to cortisol, though, there's a very interesting book written about this called Why Zebras Don't Get More Ulcers, which you can kind of see up here. I'm about halfway through the book. It's a long book. I don't know if it's worth reading, but the gist of it, zebras don't get ulcers because they only have short bits of cortisol release, short bits of stress response in response to a lion chasing them, basically. And then for most of the time, no cortisol. Humans are the same way. Humans are the same way. When we get plugged into basically the matrix at this point, and we're addicted to cortisol, which is more on the negative end, the fear end, or dopamine, which is on the reward end, whether that is dopamine from sex, from people commenting on things, from getting exposures and likes, we get addicted to either of these. And what happens is the body runs into a whole host of problems because it's not used to having elevated dopamine that much or elevated cortisol that much. Almost every modern disease is going to be promoted by increased cortisol. When you are connected and staying up with the news cycle, you are elevating cortisol levels. You're elevating fear. You're also letting people trick you and control your mind, which is a topic for another day. That's got major repercussions on its own. And this time right now, everybody's talking about immunity. Everyone's buying bucket loads, truckloads of hand sanitizer. Everyone's acting as you'd expect with a global pandemic that we have right now. It's understandable. But what people aren't doing is they're not paying attention to their mental state. They want to do all these physical things and they want to try to exert control. They want to remove uncertainty. That's fine. Do that. That's great. Take action. But be careful of what you let take action for you or take control for you. And that's why you should quit the news right now, today. If it's important, you're going to find out about it. Promise you that. It will get around to you. If they're going to lock down the country, either you'll go strolling and the cops will show up or the National Guard will show up and tell you to go home. And you'll be like, oh, I didn't know because I don't follow the news. And you'll be lighthearted and you'll go home and you'll be safe and you'll be fine, whatever. What's the difference between that and somebody that's glued into their TV every day?
Oh my gosh, did you hear what's going to happen? Oh my gosh.
Quit the news for the final reason. And then I'm going to give you a few tips of things you should work on to build your immune as much as possible. You have to bring down cortisol because when you are in a fearful, frightened, elevated state, you are suppressing immune function. You are making yourself more susceptible from the very thing you're afraid of. You have to disconnect. You have to be calm. You have to straight up ignore it. I would recommend just ignoring it. Just literally focus on things that are good, that are positive, that are beneficial. Do some work. Watch some old movies. Watch your Netflix queue, whatever. Do something productive, enjoyable. Then, in addition to that, now's the time, if you haven't already, to get your health in check. So I'm gonna give you my short list of everything that you need to do in a very rapid fire, let's get to the end of this video list, okay? First thing, get outside, get sunlight, get moving. Exercise. You could sprint, you could lift weights, pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, just get moving. Challenge your muscle fibers. There's a million ways to do this, a million videos on how to do this. It's not about lack of information or how to. It's about making the decision to go and freaking do it. Drink a lot of water, stay on top of your hydration game. Get 8 hours of sleep or more, as much sleep as your body will let you by turning off your alarm clock. Now, maybe in my lifetime has been the only time where you could literally turn off your alarm clock and millions of people could do that because most of us have to stay at home right now. There's never been a time like this in my lifetime, and there might never be again. Take advantage of this opportunity to let your body sleep as much as it wants and hopefully use that as a way to kind of reset your routine, reset your circadian rhythm, turn a new leaf. Like sleep is one of those big things that people just neglect for years until it's too late and they already have some chronic disease. Don't do that. Please eat real food. If you're watching this channel, you probably know what I recommend with that. It should be a carnivore-based diet. And I say carnivore-based. It could be carnivore keto. It could be carnivore herbivore, like whatever. Just eat clean animals, avoid toxic foods, especially grains and sugar and all that nonsense and the processed vegetable seed oils and all crap. And then cook your food at home. Cook your freaking food at home. Now's a good time to have a big juicy steak, actually. A big juicy grass-fed steak from Alder Spring Ranch. Link below to support the channel and to get the best wild, natural, grass-fed, organic beef you can on the planet. I actually had the founder, Glenn, on the podcast today, which we'll be releasing in a week. That was really fun talk. And then go cook that steak using this technique here, video I made. Meditate, get out, take a walk, de-stress, spend some time to think hard on something. Just go outside, go and listen to the birds chirp while thinking hard, and then do the same thing where you think about nothing. These are all strategies for your mental and physical well-being. Now's the time to build these habits and to take advantage of this opportunity, because that's what it is. This is all an opportunity for you to make your life better. Too much of us get sucked into things, or it's hard for us to balance new things in our life that we want to do, or eliminate bad habits in our life that we want to eliminate, because we have all these shiny objects around us and we have these responsibilities, whether it's work, school, kids, whatever. The fact that so much of that, or maybe all of it, has been basically overnight gone to zero is a huge opportunity for most of us. Take advantage, take action, and on the flip side, be very careful what you're letting affect your mind, because what you're letting affect your mind is going to affect your physiology. That is going to affect your health. That is going to affect your immune response for the worse. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you take some action with this. Drop some comments below. Let me know what you think, any actions that you're taking or not taking, any recommendations for me or for other people that might be watching this video. I really appreciate you watching this. My Patreon's also below if you want to support the channel and the podcast and all the things I'm doing. Be safe, but also take ownership of your brain and your body. That's what is going to make the difference. Not only today as you get through this, but for the rest of your life. So you might as well build the habit now. Hey, Colin here. Thanks for watching that video. I got a free PDF for you, The 7 Principles of Living Wild. Short and sweet, not long, not gonna be a novel you have to read or anything, just a simple reference of the things that make you a healthy human. So click on the button below, get that right now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.